Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WGLEU first break of the night. I hope it was refreshing because we're on the cusp of our next match of the night, and it's going to be an interesting one indeed. Oops have had a fantastic season from the start. They've made their way towards the top of the ladder and currently in first place by just 1 point, but still a good result for a breakout team. Knackebrod started strong. We saw some good results from them. They demolished out of range in their first couple of weeks, and from then, they've had their fair share of challenges. They sit at about 7th on the ladder, still well within contention for our pre-playoffs and potentially finals for the season, but this match will test them.
Yeah, I think KB is probably the most contentious team. Maybe just slightly ahead of Synergy for that 6th, perhaps 5th position if they win the next 2 matches. And to be honest, I mean, this match is, KB being a brilliant team at the beginning of the season, sitting in that top position, top 2, top 3 position for quite a while, being the breakout team and then getting kind of trumped by their sister team, but, friendly team for them, which is, of course, Oops. So this is a match I've been waiting for a long time. I mean, I never really put that much emphasis on the newer teams because I always find they need a season to try and work themselves into the WGLEU. But, I mean, Oops and KB have really shone as, kind of standout newcomers, and when you put your work in, you put the effort in, Oops is in a position where they are almost certainly going to be going towards at least the pre-playoffs, in the top 6 position, or even perhaps in that top 2 position to go and qualify for the finals in first or second automatically. This win if they win against KB, they will be in a position to do that, I think. Well,
that's the thing. If they win this one cleanly, all right, they are on 24 points. It's 4 points ahead of Tornado Rocks. Now, we still need to see what Tornado Rocks can do on Thursday, but and on what Wombats and Tanks do. The thing is, Wombats on Tanks play Tornado Rocks later on this week.
And
so neither of only one of Tornado Rocks or Wombats and Tanks can get 3 points this week. Only one of those 2 teams, which means that Oops actually, if they win this game, they guaranteed, I think,
Second.
to actually, they're guaranteed to automatically qualify for our finals.
Yeah, it's a lot of riding on this match, and if KB win, they guarantee themselves basically the top 6 position as well. They put themselves on 16 points, so a lot of riding for both these 2 teams. As you mentioned, Wombats, they got to play Canceller Crew as well, so they got a hard few matches here.
Yeah.
So I think for Ding, I think for Wombats on Tanks and for Kasna, all those teams are vying for, a good position in the final standings, while Oops is kind of leading the way.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's check out a little bit what these 2 teams had to say about each other before this game and see exactly what their expectations or fears or hopes and dreams are before this game.
Oops is one of our nemesis from Silver League. They had a really good season, being on the top spot for 3/4 of the season, I think. Only failed a bit in the end. But it's going to be a tough match. They are masters of silly strategies. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Let's just hope they don't work this time.
Knackebrod is a team which qualified also through the relegations. With the Fish as a leader, it's going to be hard for them to win against us.
Behave yourself, Crosser. Well, he said a couple of things there.
I think we probably said that a few times as well, just by screwing up.
He is talking some cack, I think, about Knackebrod. He did say it's going to be hard for them to win with Hellfish, the captain. You can see, though, that there's a pretty decent relationship between these 2 teams. I mean, they're going to make jokes about him. Even Hellfish went to whatever point of saying, they're the masters of silly strategy, and he looks over the room, and Grosso, I think, was in the room at the time, actually. Yeah. So, it's not uncommon we see that. So if you want to talk smack about them in the videos, they actually are in the room when you say it, so you've got to be careful. But
yeah, I mean, you got to look straight in their eyes and say it. That's the best way to do it. If you're going to insult a man, look him in the eyes.
It's like Hulknik looked straight in Breakneck's, in Kusok's face and said, "We're going to break Virtus Pro's neck in the game." And actually, they beat them. So, got in their heads, boys.
KB and Oops have been playing in Silver Series. They played in the pre-relegations, not the pre-relegation, just the relegation matches in the wildcard tournament. So these guys have been going back and forth for a long time. They're in similar clans in the World of Tanks community. So. Yeah, it means a relationship there, and I think there's going to be a lot of smack talking, and Game will be here to translate that for you across from the old World of Tanks chat, so you can keep keep up with it, because I'm sure we're going to see some.
So, Melly, these two teams now, you gave us a little bit of a...
I mean, Fossey is saying Gross could even throw an interview. Like, that's already starting, boys, you know.
Yeah.
It's true, he did throw that interview pretty badly.
Yeah, well, I think that was intentional, but he's a funny guy, though. He's got a bit of an attitude on him, you know what I mean? Like, he's confident. And funny that, because earlier on the season, Knackebrod were higher than Oops, and he was saying this. So now they're on top. Fair enough. Melly, you gave us a bit of a prelude to the vote earlier on. Where are we at now? Where are people starting to put their votes as we're about to jump in?
Well, at first, head over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/WGLEU, and predict the exact scoreline for this very matchup. Also, vote for your favorite team, just to see the trend of the community. And currently, it's 60% for Oops, die taffen Giraffen, the tough giraffes, and 40% for Knackebrod. Knackebrod. Also, #WGLEU if you have questions, and we do have actually a question which you could maybe quickly answer. The Oak Stuff is asking why the T57, the American Heavy, isn't really used in competitive play.
Well, we have seen it used. I mean, we've seen it a few times, especially at the beginning of the season. But, I mean, yeah, it's just bigger, stronger, got more HP than the MX-50B, more armor. But, I mean, at the end of the day, the 50B's got a better reload. It's faster, it's easier to use. You know, it just feels better to play in general, and you know, it's definitely something you can see. You know, if you go on the public test server when it comes out next, you can probably play both tanks.
Thing is, as well, we actually more so see the T54E1 actually picked up. So they don't want to go with the 57 Heavy in the Tier 10 slot. They take the Tier 9 version, still an autoloader, kind of like a souped up T69, which it is actually, obviously one tier ahead, so it can still provide some of those shots. It's kind of like taking an AMX 5100 in a Tier 8 spot. You get some decent damage, but it's in pretty much every way, obviously, a worse tank than the 57 Heavy, and it doesn't stand up to a 50B. That's the main thing as well. Teams take 50Bs all the time, so that's definitely one reason.
Alrighty, thank you guys. And also, if you have further questions, fight them right away.
Also,
I will
APCR
ask.
versus Heat as well. That's also important to mention.
Yes, it is. So as said, #WGLEU for further questions. Keep those guys busy, and also write me. I'm feeling lonely today.
Oh my god.
Oh, what is happening? I don't know what's happening. We have what? A restart?
We got a restart?
Restart.
Guys.
It was actually me.
Was it?
Oh, Mitch.
Yeah.
Did you pick a tank again?
Uber shouts, boys. Type 59. GG, 10 out of 10, Mitch.
Okay, what happened was I went to the tech tree to actually check a number on some penetration, and I went back into the lobby with my 59 locked in, and
Mate,
went into
high five. I've already done that this season.
Sub me in, coach. I'm ready to relive my Gold Series
match
days.
for you to at least do it once as well. So we're even Stevens here. It's great. Congrats, mate. I think when we see you at the finals, some of these teams at the finals, you owe them a beer. That's what I think. I'm just going to put you in there.
Yeah, rounds on me. Rounds on me, boys.
Or €1.20 beers on Mitch. So, all good. So, yeah, we're going to be waiting. I was wondering, I was like, what kind of tank pick are we going to see there? I saw an AMX 1390. I was a bit surprised. You were so surprised, though. Are you all right now?
Yeah, I'm good. I changed. Well, I thought my inclusion there might actually have been more of a hindrance to Oops than a help to them, but Type 59 OP, boys. Oh dear. Okay, so everything's done. We're sorted. We're going to jump back in. Actually, my fault. It's never normally my fault. The problem is when you're in. You know what? I'm not even going to make excuses. I'm an idiot. So that's fine.
It was actually worse when you kept on having to press that spectator button between every round.
Yeah.
So you used to reset. You used to go back to the barrage, and you're still in the tank you were in before spectator, and that was really bad. Like as you were trying to play these games, terrible. So many resets.
Let's have a look at the tank picks, shall we? Before we jump in and see exactly what we've got. Double TVP for Knackebrod, none for Oops. They've got a double 113 to be coming out here. Apart from that, Oliver, all seems to be well. Yeah, like you said, 1390 being there instead of a 251. So I don't really think we'll see too much craziness come out of those two. But again, broad lineups here. Double 113 is interesting for Oops. They, as Hellfish said, are the masters of the sillier stuff. Well, that's not really silly. It's a bit different. That's what we'd like to see. Let's jump in. Tarantula, the 1390. Will be the man on your screen here as well. It's Oops to defend first. And there's 113's pretty darn good. You can see plenty of health for them as well. And we'll see how they are going to be used. So I got a buff recently. That's why we're starting to see it more now. And Honey, unsurprisingly, the 251 being pushed up in towards that top little position. Great, of course, for defending that cap point number 2. Can even fire at cap point number 1 as well. I think it's still within the render range of that tank. So they'll shove him up there. No nasty artillery shots coming in. We've seen that before. It's a very, very nice prediction. And Tarantula, again, hasn't really seen a whole lot here. So sees nothing up north. Probably predicts either that Oops is setting up on the east or, which is pretty common, they're boosting a tank. Not hard to tell that, especially when there's no formation taken early on. Oliver, this obviously means that Oops have to take a little bit longer to set up here, but it doesn't seem like it's going to hurt them at all with KB not actually making decisive moves early.
No, for sure. They're just playing a bit of a passive game, hoping that they can actually just stay back and maybe catch Oops out on an early damage. But I mean, I think I wouldn't be surprised if KB actually wins this match. I mean, Oops is definitely good against some teams. They got kind of tested last week pretty badly by the slower style of Utopia, but I wouldn't be surprised. You can see though KB is starting to go into that left side now, and they're just trying to go for those, maybe trying to just catch Oops out with the bad timings, and maybe it's actually going to work because Insane is going forwards in the slightly slow back chat. He's got Grosser there in the background with this STB, and slowly but surely both teams are starting to head towards each other.
Insane and Grosser, like you said, moving up. Grosser obviously with some plenty of strong words before this game. He's actually just had his gun damaged there as well by a shot coming in, and that was Hellfish actually. So captain on captain, well not captain, I guess Hellfish more of a spokesperson at crux of the captain, but both the vocal parties here on either of these two teams already getting to a scuffle, and Grosser will be a little bit annoyed actually having his gun damaged at this point. The problem is because it's not destroyed, it's not worth repairing, so you just have to deal with it. Later on though, when something actually gets damaged, you can use a large repair kit. That'll also take care of the gun. But for now, it just makes it a little bit harder for Grosser to actually land these shots at long range.
Yeah, he'd definitely not be happy with that one. It looks like a Martiator is going to get boosted up here in the STB. So to me, it looks like KB are just trying to get the initial positions, and the STB can actually shoot through that bush, and that's a great spot there for old Martiator, I must admit. Grosser gets spotted out, and obviously KB now know that they shouldn't be going towards that left-hand side, because if they do, Oops is just going to be ready and waiting. And actually, I think Wombats went for a similar strategy, but they tried to collapse on Ding, and they just went for a little bit too late and got outplayed. So good shot there by a Martiator, and to be honest, I mean, I think if Oops just stay in this position, it will give KB the options. I mean, they know where Knackebrod are, they know where they're going, and they can just start to work their way into a position where they have dominance over this map.
Good little peek there, actually, by Artur on towards Grosser. Just between those two little jagged rocks makes the connection, but Oops aren't going anywhere. There's no reason for them to really make any big moves here right now. And can I just say, Fussy Eater as well, between this season and the last, has come a long way, considering the teams that he has been on. I mean, from the bottom of the league to the top over the course of one season.
EPS, no mercy.
No mercy, yeah. I mean, we know how much they struggled, with Schnipp, of course, as the spokesperson there, and they just had a rough season in general. So Fussy Eater's, yeah, definitely in a better spot right now, and hopefully he can assist his team in Insane, of course, as well, from ASAP. So, you know, who's picking up players from the lower echelons of the league last season and bringing them up now to the top, working with them very, very nicely. That says a lot about a good team. It's not about individual skill all the time. Insane definitely had it, just was the team around him that maybe didn't help him last season.
Yeah, it's for sure. You know, there's definitely more of a team game than it is an individual game, that's for sure. But this is a pretty slow match so far. It seems to me like KB is just trying to find a way in. They looks like they're trying to go for that western side, maybe just trying to catch them out, and it could be very dangerous. They are pushing into 2 STBs, a TVP, and 2 113. So. Batchat even, sorry, not a TVP, so that's hard times for them. But Almighty Artur and Paddy can both go hull down behind these train tracks. They can get the peaks, they can do some good damage.
Fussy Eater and Honey have to be a little bit careful. Well, Fussy Eater actually more than Honey has to be careful. But also they're getting good damage on towards Hellfish there. He tried to get up on the hill and get a bit of a depression angle, I guess, for his gun. Those double 113s not doing as much damage as they could have. We actually had 4 tanks firing there, but only about 2 of them actually connecting. And now Almighty Artur getting away very luckily. But Knackebrod are taking more damage and are still unable to make any considerable leeway here. They can't punch through Oops. They can't commit, of course, to the other side of the train line, Oliver. It'd be suicide to do so. And they can't risk capturing in the north because, of course, Oops can just poke over and reset them. So they need to go towards that eastern side, but, of course, Honey will be waiting for them in 251. There's a spotter, of course, in Fussy Eater, I think, who can spot them there. Tough times. All right, so you can see Knackebrod are going to have to change up their strategy more than Melly changes the ponytail side between rounds. Nice one, Melly. She's really breaking the mold here.
High-level troll.
She's living on the edge, this one. Like next, she's going to like rob a bank or something. I swear, she's out of control.
She was
stop her.
She was that person who obviously robbed the bank on Rudolfplatz. I think that was her. In and out at 6 o'clock, 50 grand in the bank.
Done and done. That's it.
Money Shriller.
It's honestly, this is the gateway for her, really. Just should stop while you're ahead, Millie, I think. Brady there takes a hit from Honey, though, so he realises now that, well, damn, neither of these capture points are really possible to go for now with how much cover the Oops have. This is just solid from Oops. Haven't had to go for a fight. Bratty getting slapped no matter where he goes. I don't think he can spot Honey from where he is. Oh, no, he does, but a lot of damage towards Brady. That's frustrating, by the way. Very annoying. You're getting shot from whatever angle. And this is Knackebrod now have to move. They have to go. Grosser going to be the target, potentially. Shots coming towards Paddy's. Permatracked on the top of the train line. And Hellfish coming through as well. He's a one-shot, but they still get Grosser. Insane, though, has shots to use. He wants Hellfish, but he gets picked up by Crux. Great use of the TVP there. Get in, get out, damage done. But Knackebrod have taken a lot of damage of their own. Now down to 5.3k. They're quite a long way behind here. Let's see if any positional advantage has been able to be gained by Knackebrod. I don't actually think so. And now it's Fussy pushing forward. Failware's DC, and there's nothing you can do about it because it's DC'd into the round. You only have a 30-second grace period, so that's really unfortunate, but that's the way it goes.
That's probably why KB was so slow in the middle of that game. I mean, they didn't have that test TV1 to get control of the middle. Very important factor because you could see Oops were just starting to drive their way across that northern part of the map without any problems. And yeah, I feel sorry for KB. They managed to lose this round. Probably just down to that disconnect. Probably would have made a big difference, and just 2 tanks remaining now. Tarantula will fall in the MX-1390, and Mighty Arthur won't be too long afterwards. So first game going to Oops on the slightly disadvantageous side of Steps.
Now, this is why you have subs in the lobby as well. So at least Knackebrod are going to have someone who can replace the downed player, but they are leapt upon. And Oops come out on top with about 5k hit points to their credit. So good start for them. Defensive side on Steps as well. But you can see their strategy, guys. You look at it quite closely. They have a strong hold in the north, and they have a good hold on the eastern side. Knackebrod have to come forward. They have to take their chances, but they had already taken so much damage early on. Bratty got smashed over on the eastern side. So to get away with a strategy, to actually push, you need as much health points as you can have. And if you wait too long, no one wrote the book on when too long actually is, but I think we saw it then.
Yeah, for sure. I think Bratty going down low in the back chat, not good. Failware disconnecting definitely didn't help. I think actually the initial engagement from KB was ballsy. I mean, just pushing into where Oops were sitting, basically 113s, STBs, bat chats, and they managed to get the first 2 kills. They only lost that TVP. Yes, they took a lot of damage, but still 2 for 1 is definitely a good exchange. But they didn't have control of that middle area thanks to Failware. They couldn't keep Oops at bay. I mean, they would have been able to pump some great STB damage into Oops. Fussy Eater wouldn't have come around. So, yeah, but that's just going to be the first round. That's how the way the cookie sometimes crumbles. And you can see Fussy Eater, the guy's been a beast, one of the highest damage dealers of any team this season, actually. And sitting up at the top with the STB with a good 2,557 HP damage. 757, sorry. So, yeah, at the moment it's actually... who's at top of damage right now? Stefan from Cancer Crew, Holtnik from Ding, Crux is third. You can obviously look on WGLEU.net, just hit WGLEU.net, hit Hall of Fame, you can check all this out. So yeah, and who's the highest guy for Oops? You have to go pretty far down, but it is Fussy Eater on 18th. He's doing obviously very well for his team, and I think that's definitely one of the good signs for a team if everyone is collectively doing a similar amount of damage. And you got Damnus just below there, Dick of Death below him, insane. So you got these top players from Oops very close in terms of that damage count back throughout the whole season. Shows that they're spreading the damage well across the teams. No one's really having to step up, be like a one-man army like we do see some teams scraping by some of the matches with. Yeah, there are some acceptable circumstances to have one-man armies. If the game goes quite close, then yeah, you're going to have one tank that's alive towards the end, or if you have like a Waffentrager Alpha 100, but generally everyone doing a good bit of damage is really, really good. And what I'm enjoying now about this next round coming up is HD has been subbed in as well, the artillery player for Oops. He's going to be on the Lorraine as well, which he's used very, very well in the past. We're going to see the tank picks here as well. Aside from that, nothing overly notable here, but we've seen how good HD has been able to be. He's the only player really that doesn't pick the M40, M43 in situations like this. So I'm looking forward to see how we can make it work. Yeah, I think that Lorraine is better. I mean, faster, more maneuverable, definitely more accurate, better reload. So he can be a little bit more flexible around the map. He doesn't have to wait. His team doesn't have to wait. It's got a lot of advantages. And HG's going to be setting up for a blind shot at the beginning. It means that KB has to be careful with their boost up. They aren't going for the boost, it looks like. Just ignoring that move completely. You'll see HD shoot towards that area now. And after a few seconds, or maybe just try and catch KB out. But yeah, he makes a shot. It's going to go towards that blind shot. You can see KB just saw it. And some damage are going to come through, actually, from some pretty good positions from Silence at the beginning.
Oops have a decent little setup here as well. It's not really towards the northern side. We can see it on the minimap for yourselves, really. They're set up more towards the eastern. Wanting to just pave the way here for a successful push. Insane, pretty far forward, actually. He might see Pad if he does poke over or show himself. He will in just a second, and he won't see Crux, though. So, still Insane, getting a bit of information. Being lit himself, has to be careful about shots in towards his side, and Pad will chase here as well. Oh, that's not good. You don't want to get tracked ever. This could be very, very bad for Insane now. He does repair quickly. He gets down into the valley, just alive, but not by much at all. And he now has to pretty much be a passive sniper or sit back because, well, even if he gets away, Hellfish is chasing. So is Pad. Oops want to set up maybe some sort of trap for this, but I don't think Knackebrod are going to be that gullible.
No, that was a good start here from KB. I mean, they went pretty far forwards, which are obviously very brave from them. Insane, I mean, that was insanely brave, just going all the way to DE area. Sometimes we see an RU-251 go into a similar position, but of course they're using artillery. I think KB probably chased a little bit unnecessarily. The batch out, of course, on a downhill slope would be able to go faster than the TVP, and now it has given Oops that ability to go towards the right side.
Very clever.
Which is good. I mean, they'll just be able to sit in there, but without a heavy tank, it's going to be hard for them to sustain through anything. And with Insane on low HP, you know, KB can just push him with those STBs, push him with the Batjets, Object 140s, TVPs, and just collapse in. Maybe even just send the RU-251 on the back from Tarantula and to two shots Insane. Maybe one shot. Well, two shots is realistic, I guess.
Interesting bait here. They move off the cap pretty much straight away. And Knackebrod now have to just halt and actually decide where they're going to go to from here. Tarantula firing towards Fussy Eater, if I'm not mistaken, and Failware will probably do the same. They won't see him here. So this is a little bit of awkward positioning now. We don't often see this now in this format anyway. With Oops actually committed to the valley. Not great, really, when you have a Lorraine there. And you have the 140 up on the hill, who's perpetually spotted. But look at this. Grosser wants to come up from behind. He wants to take Tarantula, and not a bad idea at all. In fact, and Silent's going to come up with his own shot. They're going to be able to take this 251 out of the mix so quickly. Great little ninja play. Grosser will hit that one eventually. Backs up, takes one hit, bounces one. Perfect stuff. And Oops can be happy with that one, but it doesn't do much. It doesn't really exacerbate. Well, it doesn't help their positional disadvantage, and I say that loosely, because they are starting to do the do-si-do here, but they had to put themselves in the valley, off the cap. Very much a knee-jerk reaction. Yeah,
that was a good move. I mean, let's be honest. Oops were going for the cap at the beginning, and then they went north. And I think they expected to find more than just the RU-251 in that position, which would have been great for them. But they managed to get that one tier 8 tank off the map. Cap is now underway once again, 6 minutes and 30 seconds, so they've got plenty of time. The TVPs of KB are starting to get into the battle finally, and you know, until that cap goes low, KB doesn't have to worry about getting the damage or doing damage. They just have to get themselves into positions where they can effectively decap, do the damage to the other team, stay alive, you know, just make sure they get the exchanges correct.
Insane there as well. We'll be joining Duck of Death to see if they can pick off some more tanks. And this is not bad. I mean, Knackebrod are a little bit out in the open. I mean, they have to use sort of one of the roads with a slight depression there as well. And Crux is a bit of a loose end here. He's picked up Insane. Great little pick from him. Clever play. And that's really, really, really important pickup, of course, now. And he's paid nothing for it. Gets a bit of free damage towards Duck of Death. I think one bounce there as well. But Brady now going to go in for the kill. Got a full clip ready to go. No one is there to help Duck of Death as well. You can see he was down on the slope. No one can cover him. And Oops just making some rather unfortunate errors here.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think they expected the TVP and the Batchat to actually go in for the engagement through the middle, which they did. And Oops are starting to go forward to try and take care of these 3 tier 10s, but they've already lost 2 of their own.
Yeah, this is going to get messy here. Oops, very, very low on health points. That's the main problem here. And that doesn't seem to be getting any better anytime soon. Fussy Eater takes a heck of a lot of damage. It's Hellfish to take him out. It's a 4v5, but the health points is massively in favor of KB. So, This map maybe not going the way Oops would have liked it too. KB definitely showing up with a solid defense, although both these teams playing in positions or from positions they're probably not used to actually playing. We actually saw Oops switching towards the north side, going for some sort of cap here. Pad rolls in, he wants a finish here, looking for Grossi. He knows that aside besides Damnus, it's just HD left. So an easy pickup it will be eventually here. Just the artillery left. He has... Well, he's close enough. He'll be spotted in just a moment here as well. Knackebrod know exactly where to go. HD going to be caught up on the side. A bit of a ram to finish the man off, and he does go down. Knackebrod get the second round here, and this one's shaping up to be quite a game. A lot of people saying in chat, could be one of the games of the season, or at least definitely a closer game in terms of these two teams. We've won a piece.
Yeah, you always know when you have a good game when there's not just one dimensions to a tactic. Like we saw Rusty Ross and Synergy, they always just went for one thing at the beginning and they stuck to it towards the end. Didn't really have any other pieces in play, and you could see there how Rusty KB were going forwards towards that right side. The TVPs were going all the way down south. They lost the RU-251, so they lost that northern presence. So they sent the TVPs through the middle because they saw how open that northern side was because that RU-251 was dead. So send to the middle, knowing that Oops would probably send some tank up there.
Yep.
Two autoloaders, so they can nail the tier 10 very easily. And Crooks plays a little bit red line sniperish, and Bratty was there on his own to go forward, so that wasn't the greatest coordination together with them. But they got it done, and yeah, it was definitely a good tactic for them. And once one or two of those tanks had gone down, there's just no way you could see Oops getting back into that game. So one apiece on steps. I think that's indicative of that map. And next we're going to be going on to Cliff, which is always one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's also going to be a tiebreaker map for this week as well. So if this game goes all the way, we'll be back on it. So that'll be quite telling. You can see damage being done here, and HD still managed to find his way into the top 7. And now the rest here. Crux only 1277 did, I'd say, crucial damage. I think he had some important pickoffs there. Good when you have the flexibility to do that. You have an extra tank advantage, or at least you're able to roam out towards the sides. Autoloaders are great flanking tanks. That's what they're designed to do. Supportive. They're not really frontliners, especially not the CZ. Or the TVP, should I say. But still got the work done there. So can't really fault him there. We're just a few moments from jumping in towards Cliff. It's just going to be interesting between these two teams. We haven't seen it yet tonight. We didn't get to the tiebreaker in that first game, although it was close. I want to see now what these tank picks are going to be like here. From what we can see, Oliver, it's not going to be anything crazy, but yeah, and not correct either for the most part. In fact, all wrong. So throw that out the window.
Yeah, wrong round, that one. I think that might be next round.
Yeah, not sure.
Double. I mean,
no, Knackebrod is right, I think.
Yeah,
So,
Knackerbrod's right, and then the difference is that we've got double bat chat for Oops. So
and instead of an RU-251, it's an M40 and 43 for HD.
Exactly. So we got more of an artillery presence, but it's going to be Oops on the defensive side, on the attacking side, sorry, and KP on the defensive side. So a bit surprising. I mean, the double 113. I think Oops are just going to be trying to go for the war of attrition. With a lot of HP and go for some good exchanges. They can't go through the middle, of course. I think KB can be pretty certain that Oops is going to be going down towards the southern side, but this is really good setup here for Oops. Very interesting. Insane going up towards the right, towards the middle. The two 113s there in support to try and shoot across.
Yeah, I feel like double Batcher, double 113, pretty dead giveaway that you can't go towards the middle. Don't really have the gun depression, don't really have the ability to play off kills that well at all. So Knackebrod have had... Wow, Bratty gets hammered there as well. You can see the setup there for those 113s just to catch on towards him, and he again takes a beating. Is that a tough one, that man? And he now...
It's the interesting strategies Hellfish was talking about.
Genghis is being brought in for Oops as well. Speaking of the man, he takes a bit of a beating as well. He got back around the corner. He was spotted there as well. So maybe the 113's actually looking to come forward here. Now, they can bounce some shots, but not really bouncing anyway. I don't really know why they want to go forward now. Grossa takes a little bit of damage. So they pretty much negated all the damage that Oops did earlier on. That's now been returned to them. But still, Grossa and Duckades still managed to get up towards the middle part of this map relatively unscathed. Those two 113s. So where they go from there is anyone's guess, actually. Different kind of Cliff game we're seeing here, Oliver. We don't normally see this at all. Knackebrod want to make a push around the side as well.
I would say those TVPs are really bad against the 113s. You can see how ineffective they were with the 8 shells they had. And the 113s basically got almost scot-free up towards that right side, considering the damage they would have done to, say, a Batshot or Object 140 or STB. So, yeah, Failware Hellfish starting to push down towards the southern side of this map, maybe trying to counter HD out, seeing how left side orientated Oops is. Grossi does get spotted, but, I mean, KB can just stay defensive. Obviously, at a later stage, Oops will be able to start to wear down those TVPs. They'll just be able to surround them. But it depends on what this Object 140 TVP push does. Because if they get taken out, that will give the match easily to Oops. If they don't, if they do some good damage here,
It's spotted.
it's going to go towards Insane. They're going to go towards Insane. He has to jump down.
Yeah, he can actually avoid some of the damage by the looks of things here. Stay in the lower part. And that, look, Hellfish is spotted. He's lit, so Genghis and Damnus can turn heads and look towards him now. And this is safety for HD as well, because those 2 tanks for Knackebrod can't egress any further. Here comes a push now. This is great. Oops know that most of what 2 at least Knackebrod tanks are over towards the side. And they're going to push on towards the main force here. Damnus goes low coming forward. Genghis can't actually see anything except for Tarantula, and he's obviously not really a priority target right now, having backed around the corner. Insane a little bit low. Fussy has looked better. That window that Oops are looking for here, he's only going to be lasting for another 10-15 seconds. They've got to make good use of it. Pad, he gets a shot off screen. He didn't see it, but he did track a play. But these 2 Batchats need to do damage. They need to do it now. Looking for Crux, looking for Pad as well. They're going to try and get up close and personal. Tarantula falls to Damnus as well, so that's a crucial pick up there. Crux has a lot of damage towards Fussy Eater. In fact, he can finish him actually with these 2 shots. Fussy needs some backup here. He needs the other Batchat, but it's a little bit slower to get there. Fussy Eater maybe a little bit too far forward of his teammate here. Knackebrod have the health point advantage for now, but Crux does take a big hit. HD hasn't done a lot this game, I'll be honest with you. Crux and Pad staying safe behind the buildings, keeps him alive, but Crux goes down. Pad now going to be the target. Fussy can poke in a second as well. Damnus going forward. This is Oops trying to take advantage of a bit of a positional advantage, but how long will that last now? Failware starting to come back over the hill. Duck of Death being a pivotal piece here. If he can just hold back the rest of Knackebrod, Oops can fire and get some good damage across the line.
I felt those 2 TVPs really did their job then. I mean, they stayed alive for so long until the rest of the team got into the battle. So that's why KB is still in this game, still actually winning it. They got Oops in the position they want them, in a lower position. The 113s just jumped down because they would have gotten killed by the STBs and the 140. And look, you can see the positional advantage KB have right now. Oops have to push down that EF line. They have to try and use HD to the best of their ability, see if they can land a couple of cheeky shots here into Failware, for instance. But still, I mean, KB, if they just play it correctly, they can stay alive. They can just, win this game on time if they wanted to.
Failware is protected from HD in that little alcove, so Hellfish, look at him. Look at the positioning here. Hellfish up behind as well. Duck of Deck and Genghis have no idea. No idea. Hellfish is double bushes as well. It's just perfect positioning from the man. And Duck of Death goes down to under half health. KB making all the right moves here, no doubt about it at all. They pretty much herded in towards that little donut. Look at that. I mean, you can see that KB is set up on both prongs there at E3 and F3. And they can just start to pick apart Oops. And you can see that HD again, just sort of sitting, waiting for the shot. Doesn't have one. Hellfish, he knows as well. Look at his positioning. He's not using the double bushes now because he knows he's a bit vulnerable. So he's using the rocks for protection. He's not spotted again. He can come forward and take some shots here as well. The bushes in front of him are going to make it so hard to spot him, and now he's just going to push forward. Oops, going to be jumped on here. Knackebrod going in for the kill. Duck of Death as well will probably be the first one to go down, and after that, it's just HD left on his own. Good shot from HD, but he needed so many more of those. It's not enough now. Brady's going to be able to get his last shot done. Hellfish knows pretty much where he is from seeing the trajectory of that shell coming in, and they're going to go clean him up.
Yeah, they are. They're going to be able to win this game quite nicely. HD is going to be the last man alive, as we saw in the previous game, and I felt like KB played that correctly. They were fast around the map. They were pushing Oops into positions they wanted. They stayed safe against HD for as long as they could. Of course, they're going to receive some damage at some point, but yeah, played really well and played patiently as well. So great stuff from them.
Yeah, impressive work. HD can't see Hellfish and vice versa, actually. There we go. Hellfish comes in for the kill, and patient play pays off. It's 2-1 now for Knackebrod, and I don't know. Oops. We've seen some very strong performances from them this season, and interesting that Knackebrod actually, more of a mid-table team, is actually giving them so much problem. Of course, it's first versus seventh here, and Oops being tested here. Still early days. We've only seen the first couple of maps. We still have Prokhorovka and Ruenberg to follow, and then Cliff again for the tiebreaker, which could be pretty important if you think about who's going to get the right side. So, I mean, there's still a lot to be answered. I want to see how this next round goes. And if we pick that one up as well, I still feel like they have this one, but it's right now anyone's game.
Yeah, I think Oops were trying to get a little bit big for their boots then. I mean, the double 113 playing on that left side doesn't really work too much. The TVPs took way too long to kill. Like, they stayed alive for a long time. HD, he had some opportunity to do some good shots there, but you can't rely on the artillery player to make all the plays. And KB with the roaming Object 140s pushing the tanks off the hill, going for the TVPs. And then what did they do? I mean, what did Oops really do once they took down the TVPs? They couldn't really do anything because they were in the worst positions because they gave up that EF line. So you can see the damage here. Failware in the Object 140 I was just talking about. He was just a beast, herding Oops into the positions he wanted them in. Insane doing decent there with the bat shot. But yeah, to me, it looks like in at least the last few rounds, KB is playing the better World of Tanks. I mean, they're playing more consistently. They're able to react quickly on the fly. Everything's going well.
So far, so good here. You can see down towards the bottom of the more telling things, and HD having another quiet round. Only 400 damage for him, and that was splashed towards the end, I think, towards Bratty. So pretty average from him. Fussy Eater as well on the bat chat, not really getting it done. I mean, you can understand the push from Oops there towards the start of that round, actually going the 1-2 line and trying to get rid of Crux and those other TVPs, but a little bit disjointed. They weren't going all together as well. We saw actually Fussy Eater, I'm going to say, was first, and he goes forward in the bat chat. The other bat chat was quite a long way behind him there, and he already takes half, or if not more, of his health in damage from the waiting tanks of Knackebrod before the rest of his team got there. So a little bit messy stuff here from Oops. They want to win this next round. If they don't, it could get a little bit dicey, especially when you throw Ruenberg in the mix as well as just amount. They could go either way, especially with these two teams. I think Oops have actually shown some really good Ruenberg play. But we have to find out. We're going to jump into the next round in just a few moments, guys, and keep this one moving on along. Obviously, a win here will let Oops equalize things. Let's jump into the game and see how it all goes down.
So this is the lineup we were talking about in the previous round. Double 113 bat chat, STP, TVPs, RU251 for Oops, and just a full-on, basically autoloader spread from KB with just the STP and the RU251 to switch it up with the one-shot tank. So this is going to be really interesting. Of course, you know, the 113s are fast enough just about to be able to get into defensive positions when you don't necessarily need to go all the way to the middle on this map when you're playing from the north. So, you know, they are kind of like medium tanks. It looks like KB going towards that left side. Honey gets taken down very low. Very careless play from that man. And that's a terrible start here for KB. Oops, even, sorry.
All Oops can really take away from that is the position of a few of those Knackebrod tanks, but they didn't see them all, only a few. And they have now no control of the 1-2 line to speak of. Oops have picked tanks that don't necessarily excel in the brawl scenario. Double 113 there as well, bat chat. So, I mean, it's fair for Knackebrod not to expect them to try and take the hill. They definitely wouldn't be contesting if I was them. But look at them now pushing in towards this donut into what seems to be a bit of a trap here. Bratty bounced 2 shots, not 1, 2 coming towards him just then. Very, very fortunate for him. And look at the side shots coming in. Oops are pushing onto KB. They're the defending team here. And yet KB are just going to make an absolute killing here off Oops if they continue to push in towards the firing line. Crux takes a hit from Damnus there. He wants to duel with him a little bit as Hellfish comes off towards the side. Was hoping that Damnus was busy enough with Crux not to notice his approach, and, well, it worked out. It's going to be one more shot, and that is crippling. Damnus now to a one-shot. Hellfish doing what you want to do at a TVP, just pretty much put a tank out of the game early on, and that damage is going to help KB get out to an early lead here. 3k hit points.
I'm pretty surprised Oops didn't push straight across, take care of Fairway, take care of Tarantula, and then just move on. I mean, they could have got the overmatches there, and it would have been KB having to push up through here, and as long as maybe they had an RU251 up north, it could have been okay. But Oops coming around from a different corner with a counter-attack.
They're also taking a lot of damage again as well. They're just taking too much damage. Oops. Knackebrod just quite able to sit back and just make them pay for it. I don't know whether it's the tank pick, the lineup, the strategy, but Oops coming forward here just doesn't seem like a good idea. Well, it didn't seem like that before the game started, and it looks even worse now. KB still have 6 to work with. 4 tanks left for Oops. They're all low. Silence will get a bit of a consolation kill towards Crux, but Damnus avoids death just barely. Fussy Eater takes a shot, and Mighty Archer coming with a full clip. Like, this is like Knackebrod are pulling tanks from left, right, and center. They're all loaded, they're all ready to go. Well, Mighty Archer going in for the finish here as well. Damnus will drop. He should be able to take down Fussy Eater as well. One after another. Well, Mighty Archer going to get the finish here as well. Beautiful stuff from that man. Clean up crew personified. And it's 3-1 now towards Knackebrod. A very, very strong cliff. Oh, this is fine. Oops are going to be tested here. We knew that they would be. But as a team who sits so pretty on the top of the ladder, you would expect them to maybe have a little bit more gumption in these first couple maps.
Yeah, I mean, Oops had very specific tactics on both rounds, and they both didn't work out. They almost got counter-strategized by KB. You know, once we saw those 130s push around the corner, you had Tarantula in the RU251, you had Failware, the most annoying, and you also had a Batchat, I think, somewhere in that position. So, I mean, I could have already said, just looking at the positions and the damage, they would have already lost the round at that point. And Bratty with the bat shot aiming in that direction, yeah, okay, he missed quite a few shells or bounced a few, but still did some damage. So yeah, I mean, it seems to me like obviously Oops, one of those teams, as Hellfish said, you know, they've always tried new strategies, interesting strategies, but yeah, right now they're just getting pushed back every single time, and you know, they're okay. They try to come from a different direction, and maybe they should have just pushed straight across and just gone for a full mid brawl, and then gone for the north a little bit more. But they tried to do something a little bit strange, and you know, KB were just sitting there with their guns pointed in the right directions.
There's a high likelihood as well that these two teams are pretty familiar with each other. I mean, we know they are off the battlefield, but even on it as well. So, you know, probably training partners, I would say, especially two teams that aren't super close on the ladder. There's more likely that they're going to be comfortable to actually train against one another here. And maybe it shows. Maybe that's one reason why. KB just seemed to have a read on a lot of what Oops are trying to do. Now, that map, I believe, was KB, so it stands to reason that they are sort of looking good on that one here. But with an unconvincing game on steps, Oops have to be careful now. They need to nail this next one. I think this next one is also KB's map as well. So, yeah, a little bit dangerous times here, considering that 2-0 here means the game's done already. Who would have thought? I mean, you've seen the last little bits of damage here as well. Honey, we saw him get blown up pretty early on. You know, 113's not really doing a lot of damage. Insane only doing 700 odd. That's not enough. But Melly, the votes are actually closer for this game than we normally see. 60-40, I think it was. So people definitely believe in Knackebrod here, despite their position on the ladder. And it looks like their faith is well placed.
Well, actually 68% for Oops. So they're favoring Oops in this meta.
That's what I mean, but more than I would expect, maybe. The more people backing Knackebrod than I would expect, considering the ladder's positions.
That's true. That's absolutely true. So, and if we look on the exact votings, people at home really expect a very one-sided match in favor of Oops.
It's weird.
Which
I mean,
is not happening. That's what confuses me. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever thought this would be a one-sided match. These two teams know each other very well.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter doesn't matter who they've played before. And okay, Oops have played some great teams, won against some Cancer Crew, etc., etc. But I mean, they know each other. The players are familiar with each other. I mean, maybe Oops just put a few better matches together than KB, but really they're on a similar level.
Absolutely. So the vote is sadly over. But maybe if you have. Well, if maybe you have an idea what's actually going on, so use the hashtag WGLEU over at Twitter to tell us. Also, if you have questions, find them right away. I will ask our experts for you guys to get you your answers. And of course, don't forget to follow our Twitch channel, because then, I mean, there's still one game left, but for the next time, you will get an email as soon as we go online with our show. So that's very, very important. So I have to stress out. Follow.
Yeah, we're gonna be going towards the final soon as well. It's gonna be gotta follow the
one more match week. One more match week after this one. We're there.
Yeah, and it's not like we have. I mean, the announcement for season 2 finals is going to be coming out in the next few days, so there's no point spoiling it for you guys.
Ollie's going to write an article with a really corny title. We're gonna see
mate, you gotta love that. You what, mate? You know, the Grand Final 2016. No one comes up with this stuff. We got an editorial department. I don't know what they're doing.
There's a reason why no one comes up with this stuff.
I could be a one-man army just taking the whole of Johannes' department under my wing and just give them some cheesy titles. Just feeding some cheddar cheese.
Can I have that on record, actually? Yeah. No one comes up with that stuff because they're busy coming up with stuff that's not stupid.
It's boring. You know, you got to be entertaining it, otherwise no one's going to read it.
I've tried for over a year now to talk some sense into Ollie, and it just doesn't matter. He will go his own way, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the way it is. Prokhorovka.
Yeah, Prokhorovka
is the next map. Cut you right off there, didn't I?
I was going to say anyway.
Oh, really?
We were loading in, mate. 5 seconds.
Look at this guy. He's on point today, ladies and gentlemen. If he does sound a little bit croaky, he is under the weather today. So it was me last week. Now it's him. Just in tandem, but, you know...
Send me some asprin or something. I don't take medications normally, but my head's on fire right now.
Yeah,
I offered you painkillers already.
Look, I don't know what you've laced them with.
Telling you. Send me aspirin.
Well, could be some leftover horse tranquilizer, so you never know.
Some ketamine
That's good stuff.
I bet it is, Melly. Can we, see, this is what I said. First she moves a ponytail, next she's abusing drugs made for animals. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is ridiculous. Obviously, don't touch horse tranquilizers, guys who are listening at home. Be responsible with that. It's for animals only, and it's for humanitarian and humane purposes. Melly is just filling your head with garbage. Anyway, Insane and Grosso moving up towards that eastern side of the map here, and Oops, actually, to be fair, are mostly here as well.
Yeah, they're both on this side of the map. That's interesting. Duck of Death, though, on the hill with the sniping tank, the Leopard. So this could be an old brutal brawl at the beginning. And RU2500 heading to A0. But I think Oop probably have the better positions at the start. No IS7 as well from KB, so the position which Hellfish and Matchweek are playing could easily be pounced upon by Grosser and Insane.
Yeah, STBs though, you can see what they can do with these. Is Crux actually already laying down some damage here. It's Insane actually got tracked, so unfortunately no one else from Knackebrod to really capitalize on the immobile IS7. As I said, STBs here at least they can fire down through the tracks. I've said it once tonight already. But Knackebrod didn't mess around on these teams. I'm telling you, these teams know each other. They didn't even mess around on the western side. They went straight towards the middle, and almost like they knew what Oops were going to do here. And Artur looking for Insane, won't quite catch him. The IS7s are trying to fire back a bit, and Crux gets hammered for being a little bit cocky, poking over. Grosser as well, and Insane are both starting to take a bit of punishment. And Knackebrod have a decent setup here. Those IS7s are going to start feeling pretty frustrated, because look at that, shot in towards the back of Grosser's turret. Past Insane it was. KB are making their shots count here. And these IS7s aren't going to get any backup in the near future, I think, with the rest of the team sitting up on the hill. Dark of Death getting some big hits in towards him. Being spotted as a leopard, not a good idea. You're pretty flimsy, pretty much no armor to speak of here. And Oops already dropping the ball.
Yeah, I think they really, if they want to stand a chance, they should just push in straight onto Almighty Arturo pad. But they're going for the longer game, and they're definitely losing it. They could have also just pushed south onto Tarantula and take him out very quickly. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, KB is just peeking. Oops is trying to set up on the right side. You can see the TVPs are coming forwards, but they've been spotted. And Bratty might just find himself with some good damage here.
That shot into the back of Grosser's turret earlier on actually ammo racked him as well. So, it damaged his ammo. It didn't actually rack him, otherwise he'd be dead. But pretty bad situation for an IS7 who already doesn't exactly have the best rate of fire, to now even worse. And Grosser is not far from dropping. Now, this is the push from the rest of Oops that came, I don't know, 2 minutes too late. I said, you know, they weren't going to see any support in the near future. Fussy is tracked on top of the train tracks. Never a good situation, obviously. Silence getting tracked as well. Knackebrod making good shots here, but the damage is still in the balance. It's swinging back and forth here. But KB should be able to overcome, I feel like, after the start to this round they've had. Silence looking for Bratty, who's on reload right now as well. That's an important point. And Hellfish is just backing up behind some houses here. So, close one here. It is close, I'll be honest with you. It's a 5v5, but, you know, finally Oops springing into gear, actually getting some damage across the line. Crux will fall here. Nice little combination. Damnus getting the finish. Duck of Death did go down. That Leopard finally falling after taking such a beating earlier on. And it's a 4v4.
Yeah, I think KB took a long time just to get that eastern village. It allowed Oops to clear up the north. I think Paddy did a pretty bad job in that Object 140 in the middle as well. And it's going to take a while to kill Insane. That's the end of the day. I mean, Hellfish and the RU-251 can finally get him down, but, you know, it might be just enough time for Honeyfrack to head up to the hill and take care of Tarantula.
Insane has decent cover, to be honest. Hellfish can't really hurt him. Okay, fair enough, Hellfish. Prove me wrong. He does get a finish on Insane. So Insane had a decent cover, but it wasn't enough. Honey does finally ascend. He gets Tarantula. He's going to keep it 3v3, quickly repairing his tracks there as he was almost caught out in the open. Honey has to be careful. He's in a good spot, but getting hit here. That was a blind shot, in fact, as well. And he's now caught in that spot. However, no longer lit. He has a few rows of bushes in front of him, so he can do some work from that position. And there's Damnus and Silence up in the distance as well. Oops, losing control of this one again. For a moment, they looked like they'd stabilized, but now, having taken so much damage, having lost both their IS7s, things starting to look a little bit more grim. And not even Honey can really make the difference. He can't spot Hellfish from where he is. He can see Patter, but if he fires, he doesn't have 2 rows of bushes, just the one. He will be lit.
He will be taken down pretty quickly as well. You can see Patter's actually got his driver taken out, and Bratty's actually got a good angle here because Silence and Honey in the background really not able to help.
Oh, that's devastating stuff for Oops here as well. That's the finish. Pad and Hellfish now can move up forward as well. Bratty, some beautiful shots from him, who's had a tough game so far, but he's just been patient. He's persevered. Honey last man standing. Ammo racked in a 2-5-1. That's pretty unfortunate there. Obviously, his reload time is going to be elongated significantly. Hellfish is going to go hunting for him. He's a one-shot to the 140 as well. Not great to be Honey right now.
No, he's going to be taken down real quick. And it's going to be the 4th round now for KB, putting themselves on match point. Who would have said at the beginning of this match that KB would be winning 3 rounds, basically back-to-back, easy stuff for them, no problems in steps. I mean, again, you mentioned at the beginning, KB having a sixth sense of what Oops wanted to do, not messing about with that western side, not messing about the middle, just getting the initial spots to making sure they're not got it completely wrong, taking control of that right side. Then we had that whole back-and-forth situation between the train line, which we see. And, the SPTs did their job. I think I think they actually did a good job, Oops, with the individual play to get back into the game, taking care of Crux, who was red line sniping, and the rest of the teams that are just sitting around the rocks. No, I'm joking, of course. He was in the battle with the TVP. But yeah, I mean, Damnus had to go forward behind that train line, and then when Damnus went down, you know, Bratia did a great job there. That was going to be game over. Damnus would have had to be further back in a more defensive position.
And it was in the balance as well. We had about 5.5k to 6k in terms of health, but those IS-7s being off the map, it was actually more of a positional deficit that then Oops found themselves in. After those went down, then they started to take a lot more damage. They weren't in a good spot. They were up on the hill, didn't have a lot of cover. Braddy there, great game from him, really, really good. I have to say, like, there's a few finishes at the end, very, very crucial. It was still a close game until he actually found that angle. And it's good. It's good that you can see a player that can do that late round, can come from the side. That's why the Batchets are such sick clutch tanks quite often. Grosso with no damage. Pretty rough for him as well. But, you know, I'm sure that gives us some ammunition next time we see him. He had it rough. He got shot in the back of the turret a few times. He didn't have much cover as well.
Bench. That's the next time we'll be seeing him. Bench warmer with that kind of performance. But yeah, you're right. I mean, those IS-7s were a positional piece, which I felt like Oops tried to keep, and yeah, that wasn't going to work out.
Well, IS-7s are no good if you're not playing off them. That's the problem. You set them up on the train line and close to that cap, but there needs to be some capitalization. Yeah. If you're drawing the enemy's eyes to those IS-7s, you must be able to shoot them. The problem is with these STBs, all these Batchats poking the train line unspotted at the north side of the map, you're getting free damage down. So the IS-7, it doesn't matter if there's cover for the IS-7s, because you've already shot and backed away, done damage to the IS-7s before the rest of the tanks can even fire. So there's no point having them, really. It's just get your strategy thrown out the window. It doesn't matter anymore. Let's go into the next one, Ollie. This is, I still believe, KB's map. So, I mean, they're looking pretty good right now. We do see the artillery coming out. HT needs to have a good game here. Oops need to give themselves some momentum. This is devastating. Their next match is against Wombats and Tanks, so Oops can quite easily slide out of that first position outside of the top two, Ollie. It's possible if things keep going wrong for them here. If they lose this one, I think if... I don't know. Either way.
It's so bad. It would be horrible. I mean, Oops, if they get 1 point here even, it would be okay. I mean, 2 points would be the ideal situation. I mean, in terms of being able to stay in the top two, and 3 points would be like the best case scenario, but that's not going to happen. Of course, you can see KB are a match point, so Oops only, if they win the next 4 rounds in a row, able to get 2 points. So I feel bad for Oops because, you know, if they got this win in the bag, like, they would have guaranteed themselves a top 2 position. Yep. 100% basically. So things not going so well. KB are obviously vying for probably a more important position in top 6, you know, competing against Synergy, competing against Kazakh Crew, competing against Utopia, somewhat competing against Ding, who's sitting up in 4th place right now. So yeah, a lot on the line for both these two teams, and you can see that importance definitely have an effect on the very logical, very solid play from KB.
Could also getting good damage across and even lit Hellfish on fire. That's not good at all. Had a lot of damaged modules. He actually had to use his repair kit there, his large one. So he probably doesn't even have a repair kit left, actually, if he's got first aid. So not good for Hellfish. Good work from Grosso. That's a lot of damage to inflict early on. But Knackebrod still getting this cap going on Braddy. Oh, lucky there. Matrix style, managing to dodge that shot, or at least it missed him. Grosso wants to go forward. Bratty can't do a lot, actually. Yeah, he's got to hull over. That's a bit risky. He's committed to this one now. Braddy really in the mix here. He's just trying to make sure Grosso can't poke over and get any resets. That's quite smart, actually. Maybe they'll be able to hold this one off. You can see Grosso looking for some reset, but he can't get it. The cap is about to be completed. Oops! No! They just stay in it. Just get the reset at the last moment. Look at the 2-1-10 E5s. Look how far forward they push. And look how much health Oops have given up to just get the reset. KB really putting their nose to the grindstone.
And they can't get the second reset here. No one's going in. Silence trying to go across it. Satan does manage to do it, but it still doesn't matter. KB get the match, don't get the reset, and incredible stuff. Just managed to clinch it in the end.
Okay then, not maybe what we expected at all. Oops, sitting pretty at the top of the ladder, now losing in quite a stunning style. 5-1 here for KB. They'd have to be happy with that one as well. They know there's a rivalry between these two, and Hellfish would be rubbing his hands together, of course. Grosso had a good start. Smashed Hellfish, actually. He's put him down to about half health, but the cap was super quick. I like that. Teams that have an understanding of how Prokhorovka works and how the logistics of Prokhorovka works, put 3 tanks on the cap early. If you see your enemy team across in the western side, they have 25 seconds to cross the map. It's not enough time to get there and hull over the train line. At least not enough time to do it in a safe way. So they're either going to not reset and lose, or they reset and they get their faces belted in by the damage you can put towards them.
Yeah, for sure. And I felt like, there's a chance there for Oops to actually come back into that game. But, I mean, you could see there, Insane did a great job against Grosser. He didn't really have, too much chance against that batch chat. But, I mean, yeah, I think I feel bad for Oops in that situation because I was waiting for a team to do that tactic. I was waiting for a team just to go with 3 tanks in the cap and have all the other tanks just push in to try and slow down the other team by pushing across the tracks with the 2 T110s or whatever, just pushing across a difference. So really good play by KB. I think they deserved that win. It was kind of the 2 binary different play styles. You had obviously the very interesting weird tactics from Oops, and you had the more logical but perfectly executed strategies from KB, who've had inconsistent results, but this time they managed to put together for 3 points against Oops.
Very impressive. Also showing that KB have what it takes to contest that 6th spot, because they get 3 points from this one. They nudge ahead of Synergy as well. Synergy are the ones actually got into 6th, and now KB leapfrogs them into 6th as well. So that is a hotly contested spot. Really, really closer than what we saw in Season 1 anyway. So anything is possible. There are pre-playoff positions open for a lot of these teams. That's happening next weekend, by the way. I didn't think we really mentioned that, but next week's our last match week, and straight after that we're into the pre-playoffs there. Saturday, Sunday, I think it is.
Yep.
So
13th, 14th.
There goes my weekend, but it's going to be some good water tanks action, and we have no idea who's going to be there yet. Melly, bit of an upset there as well. The vote maybe didn't indicate that. I think Knackebrod have a lot of fans. I think there are a lot of people that believe in them here as well, but to beat a team so handily, 6 places ahead of you, that's no mean feat.
No, I mean, the vote ended with 63% in Oops' favor. So, and quite one-side matches were predicted, but mostly, of course, in favor of Oops, which didn't happen, of course. But we did have quite a lot of, a handful of people guessing the 5-1 for Knackebrod. So there will be codes given out. That's like the most interesting part of this slot. People, somebody won. Congratulations. We will announce them later on. And of course, the next vote is open. So head over to facebook.com/WGLEU for your last chance of winning bonus codes tonight. Of course, we'll be back on Thursday. There we will have another bunch of bonus codes for you. But yes, get involved. First come, mostly first serve, because the first 3 correct predictions will be rewarded with bonus codes containing premium and gold and a premium tank and a garage slot. So get involved. I think that's definitely worth to get your predictions up to me. Also use the hashtag WGLEU over at Twitter to tell us what's on your mind. Also questions, everything very welcome via Twitter. Also follow us at WGLEU and on YouTube, youtube.com/WGLEU. It's easy.
It really is. It is that simple, guys. Thanks so far for your involvement in the games that we've had. It's been good to see you guys in chat as well. Plenty of Kappa Pride, Knackerbrods going
They're
up
really
in there.
colory.
Yeah.
It's always when
Colourful.
Knackebrod or colorful. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
coloring.
oops. Coloring. Come on. I had a bit of a day, as we already say.
I mean, to be fair,
Sorry.
like scooping poo water with your bare hands is
Not a very
is
colourful day, I tell you that.
No, well,
No,
just
that was
one colour
definitely
actually.
not.
It is brown is a colour, to be fair.
Isn't it a shade?
No,
No.
it's black and white. Black and white are like tints or whatever. Brown's colour. Yeah.
But yes, get involved.
Yes, all right, guys. We're going to go to a break. When we get back, of course, last game of the night, it's going to be Penta versus Utopia. Again, 2 teams that are still fighting for their chance to actually break the top 6. So every match from here on out, I literally mean every one of them, is very, very important. Last match of the night coming up, Penta Utopia, guys. Simple as that. Don't miss it. We'll be back right after the break.